The U.S. government finally surpassed the long-anticipated $20 trillion national debt mark on Friday the 8th. Oh, I don't say finally because they had so restricted their expenditures that it was taking longer than expected. That's far from the case. In fact, under globalist Donald Big Government Trump, the federal government had its largest deficit month in history in June, topping $400 billion for the first time. The only reason it took this long to hit the big 2-0 was due to a multitude of accounting tricks in order to put off acknowledging the expenditures until now in order to meet the debt ceiling, which I actually call the debt target because they hit it every time. How's that for a chart? Does that look in any way sustainable? The short answer is no, of course not. But what else would you expect from a government who routinely loses trillions of dollars? Like that time Donald Rumsfeld announced the pentagram, they call it the Pentagon, was missing $2.3 trillion on September 10th, 2001.
According to some estimates, we cannot track $2.3 trillion in transactions.
The next day, the accounting department at the Pentagon blew up, and no one asked anything about it ever again. Even the U.S. government's own auditors haven't been able to audit their books properly for more than 20 years because it was deemed too vast to account for. Yes, too vast. Here's a pro tip. If you have the largest government in the world, with the highest level of extortion called taxation, highest levels of debt, and the most people in concentration camps, you aren't the land of the free. But now that the U.S. government has admitted to $20 trillion in debt, what does it mean? Well, first, that isn't even close to the total debt and liabilities of the U.S. government. When you take into account money already spent on socialist insecurity and Medicare, the total amount of debt and liabilities amounts to somewhere between $100 and $220 trillion. And yes, there's about $100 trillion, give or take, that is hard to account for. But even if the lowest estimate of $100 trillion is used, that's still over $300,000 for every man, woman, and child in the U.S. Even a baby unlucky enough to be born today in the USSA is saddled with more than $250,000 worth of debt. Of course, many Trump supporters say the exact same thing every president's supporters say once he's in office. It isn't his fault. It was the last guy. To some extent that's true, but there's absolutely nothing being done to rein in the spending of the U.S. government by Trump. In fact, as I pointed out, it has only increased under his tyrannical regime. Exactly as I said it would. This is the never-ending game of politics, to keep making things worse and worse, and to keep people hoping for a change that never comes as the boot stamps down on their face forever. There will never be change until people stop paying their extortion fees called taxes and stop obeying the illegitimate authority of government. Government is nothing but a criminal organization. The only difference between it and the mafia is size. And the only reason some people haven't figured this out yet is because they are taught as children in the government indoctrination camps doing their daily Pledge of Obedience and worshiping the flag from the age of 5. The only other way this tyrannical organization can be stopped is if or when it goes completely bankrupt and its fiat scrip, the US dollar, becomes worthless because of hyperinflation. Because after all, with $20 trillion in debt, if interest rates were allowed to rise to even 10%, that would mean $2 trillion per year in interest payments, which is almost the entire tax, extortion, theft-based revenue of the murderous U.S. government. At that point, the dollar will hyperinflate in order to keep the game going for just a few more months, and then total collapse. It's actually been planned for decades, and we are nearing the end game right now. In fact, it may begin this month. Stay tuned to this YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe down below. Just click the little button and the little bell beside it, as I'll soon be releasing some information that indicates the total collapse could begin as soon as this month. If you'd like to find out more information on not only surviving but prospering during this collapse, make sure to check out Max Wright's free webinar, which we'll have in the links down below. He goes over why the crash is coming and how you can protect yourself from it and even make massive profits through it. The webinar is completely free and has some excellent information in it, and it's only offered to a limited number of people and for a limited time. But you can get access to it by clicking in the links below. I suggest you do, because if you still have not prepared for the coming collapse, then you are really leaving things until the last second. I expect things to begin to go off the rails as soon as this month. Stay tuned here for more information in the coming days. And here's more from Max Wright.
Experts agree that the next 24 months represents the greatest opportunity of our lifetime for the average person to go from where they are financially to where they want to be. I say it a little bit different. I say that it will be easier to create complete financial freedom in 2019 with $100,000 in your pocket than it is today with $1 million in your pocket. When I say that to people, they roll their eyes and think, you've got to be kidding, until they see what I show them right here on this whiteboard. Then a light bulb goes off. They get it, and they are excited by the financial freedom and wealth that is within their grasp. G'day everybody, my name is Max Wright, and if you don't know me, every year around this time, I take a couple of weeks off my businesses to create this teaching event I call the Great Wealth Transfer Webinar. And this year, I am super excited because I have created all new content from scratch. In fact, throughout the whole webinar, it's just me, this whiteboard, and you. See, let me explain. The stock market, it's at an all-time high. Real estate market, all-time high as well. It's been 9 years since the 2008 global financial crisis, and another crisis is just around the corner. I can show you another 200 indicators that look just like 2007. But this year, I think most people already know that, which means I get to skip over why it's going to happen, which is what I normally teach, and get straight to how it's going to happen. Here is what you will learn on the Great Wealth Transfer webinar. Number 1, I get to teach you the exact layout of the coming crash. There'll be 3 distinct phases, by the way, and in each phase, certain asset classes will skyrocket, and in a different phase, that same asset class will get destroyed. Number 2, gold, silver, cash, stock market, real estate market, and Bitcoin. I get to tell you exactly when each one will boom and when each one will crash. Number 3, real 2008 examples that will blow your mind. You see, I didn't just make up any of the numbers in that headline on this page. They are from real examples in 2008, and when I show people, it drops their jaw. So just beside this video right here, go ahead and select a time that is convenient to you. This is your chance to not only claim one of the limited spots available to learn this information, but it's your chance to claim the financial destiny you deserve. If you miss it this time around, the next chance will be next year, and quite frankly, it is very likely that that will be too late. And I just want to mention why I believe I get to teach you about how to profit from it rather than why it's going to happen. Since the founding of the United States in 1776, there have been 47 booms and busts. Economic expansions and contractions for us geeks. They last on average about 4 or 7 years. There's been a few less than that and a few more than that, but that's the average. We are now in the 3rd longest expansion in the history of the country. And in a few months, it will be the 2nd longest. A few months after that, it will be the longest ever. I don't know if it will be next week, next month, or next year, but that crash is coming. And those who do not get out of its way will get crushed. Those who play it wisely will magnify their wealth many times over. So because you already know it's well and truly overdue, I get to skip over why it's going to happen and give you the exact blueprint of how this crash is going to go down and how you can multiply your wealth during it if you play it smart. So just beside this video right here, go ahead and select a time that is convenient to you. This is your chance to secure one of the limited spots and to claim the financial destiny you deserve. Sadly, next year may be too late, so go ahead and do it right now. And because I believe in this so much, I want to give everyone who takes that step a special gift. When you secure your spot on the Great Wealth Transfer, on the following page is a video that until now has been for paid customers only. In this video, you will learn exactly how the media, political parties, universities, and banks work together to extract as much money from you as possible. Armed with this information, you will be much better at seeing the world for how it really is, and it will better help you position yourself to multiply your wealth over the next 24 months. It is my free gift to you when you secure your spot to attend the Great Wealth Transfer webinar. So go ahead and secure your spot right now. I look forward to seeing you at the event.